They say hindsight's 20/20. I should have noticed when my 8-year-old asked at breakfast, "Daddy, should I tell you about Uncle Marshall's visits?" The way my wife's face went white, the panic in her eyes, but I trusted her. 15 years in manufacturing management taught me to trust my team, and I thought I knew Melissa. I was devastated to learn how wrong I was. My name's Vincent Torres. I'm 58 years old. Been managing Southwest Industrial Solutions for 20 years. Worked my way up from the factory floor. Honest work, demanding work. I married Melissa 3 years ago when I was 55 and she was 42. People talked about me remarrying after Sarah died, but we didn't care. Dylan's been my whole world since his mother passed 6 years ago, and that boy deserved a complete family again. That Tuesday morning started normal. I was up at 5:30, coffee brewing while I checked production schedules, quality metrics, maintenance issues in Bay 2. Melissa came down around 6:45, dressed for her admin job at the community college, or so she said. I made scrambled eggs while Dylan sat at the kitchen table with his drawing pad, sketching what looked like business meetings with stick figures. Morning light came through the window I'd replaced last spring. Melissa poured coffee, scrolled her phone, didn't look at me. "Regional inspection today," I said, sliding eggs onto plates. "Probably won't be home until 8. She nodded, eyes still on her screen. Dylan pushed his drawings aside when I set his plate down. "Good kid," always said his thank yous. He started eating, then stopped, fork halfway to his mouth. He looked at his stepmother with those big brown eyes that reminded me so much of Sarah. "Mommy Melissa," he said, voice small and uncertain. "Should I tell Daddy about Uncle Marshall's visits last night?" The kitchen went silent. I stood at the stove, spatula in hand, watching my wife's face cycle through expressions I'd never seen before. Fear, anger, calculation. She forced out a laugh that sounded brittle as old metal. "Dylan, sweetie, we talked about this," she said, voice tight. "Remember, that was just work stuff. Business meetings." "But you said," Dylan started. "Eat your breakfast," her tone sharpened. I set the spatula down carefully. "What happened last night?" "Nothing happened," Melissa said quickly. Too quickly. "He's talking about my colleague Marshall who dropped off some files. Right, Dylan?" Our son looked between us, confusion and fear on his face. He was 8 years old. He shouldn't feel either of those things at breakfast. "Dylan," I said gently. "What did you want to tell me, buddy?" "Don't interrogate him, Vincent." Melissa stood up, chair scraping tile. "He's a child. He doesn't know what he's saying." "I'm not interrogating anyone. I'm asking our son a question." "There's nothing to ask about." Her voice rose. "You're always doing this. Always looking for problems, always suspicious." "I'm suspicious?" The words came out hard. "Our son asks if he should tell me about Uncle Marshall's visits and you shut him down. You don't think that's worth talking about?" She grabbed her purse, her briefcase. "I'm not doing this right now. I have work to do." "Melissa." The front door slammed. Through the window, I watched her back out too fast, tires squealing. Dylan was crying quietly. I sat beside him, pulled him close. "Hey, it's okay, buddy. You're not in trouble." "Mommy Melissa's mad at me," he whispered. "No, she's not mad at you." I held my son while his eggs got cold and tried not to think about the look on Melissa's face. Tried not to think about how she'd left without kissing either of us goodbye. But I couldn't stop thinking about it. Not for the rest of that very long day. I couldn't focus at work. The regional inspector walked through our production lines asking questions about efficiency, and I gave him answers on autopilot. My mind was back in that kitchen, watching Dylan's frightened face, hearing Melissa's too quick denials. During lunch break, I sat in my office and called her, straight to voicemail. I tried again an hour later, same thing. By 3 o'clock, I was dialing every 15 minutes. Nothing. She finally answered at 4:30. "What, Vincent?" "We need to talk about this morning." "There's nothing to talk about. I already told you." I leaned back in my chair, rubbed my eyes. "Melissa, our son was scared. You left without explaining anything." "I'm not pretending anything," she interrupted. "You're the one making a mountain out of nothing. I had a work meeting. Marshall dropped off quarterly reports. End of story." "Then why did Dylan ask if he should tell me?" Silence on the line. Then, "I don't know, Vincent. Maybe because you're always so intense about everything. Maybe he thought you'd overreact, which, by the way, you are." I'm trying to understand what's happening in my own house. Nothing is happening.
God, you're exhausting sometimes.
I heard traffic noise in the background. Look, I'm at the store. Can we talk about this later? What store? I thought you were working late on those reports. Another pause. Longer this time. I had some errands to run. Is that okay with you, or do I need permission to leave the office now? That's not what I'm saying. I have to go. I'll be home by 6 o'clock. She hung up before I could respond. I sat there staring at my phone. Something was off. The defensiveness, the quick anger, the way she turned it all around on me, making me feel like I was going crazy for asking basic questions. My first wife, Sarah, died in that car accident 6 years ago. T-boned at an intersection by a drunk driver. Dylan was only 2 years old. I'd been working late that night, told her I'd pick up Dylan from daycare. If I'd left on time, if I'd been driving instead of her, maybe she'd still be alive. I carried that guilt for years. Melissa knew that. Knew how I blamed myself for not being there. Was she using that against me now? Making me doubt my own instincts? I left work at 5, drove home with my knuckles white on the steering wheel. Melissa's car was in the driveway when I pulled up. Through the kitchen window, I could see her moving around, making dinner like nothing had happened. Dylan was in the living room building a Lego factory. I sat down beside him. "Hey buddy, how was school?" "Good," he said quietly, not looking up from his blocks. "Want to tell me about it?" He shrugged. "We learned about fractions in math." I waited, giving him space. Finally, he looked at me. "Dad, am I in trouble for what I said at breakfast?" My heart broke a little. "No, son, you're never in trouble for telling the truth." "Mommy Melissa said I shouldn't talk about Uncle Marshall's visits anymore. She said it would upset you." Before I could respond, Melissa appeared in the doorway. "Dinner's ready," she announced, her smile bright and false. "Come on, you two. I made your favorite, Vincent. Pot roast." She walked away, leaving me sitting there with our son and 1,000 unasked questions. Something was definitely wrong, and I was going to find out what. That night, I couldn't sleep. Melissa was beside me, breathing deep and steady while I stared at the ceiling, counting the hours. Around 2 o'clock, I got up for water, passed through my home office, and noticed something odd. Papers scattered on my desk, file cabinet drawer slightly open. I never left my office messy. My hands started shaking as I checked the filing cabinet. The Southwest Industrial Solutions folder was there, but files were out of order. Proprietary manufacturing processes, client lists, financial reports. Someone had been through everything. I sat at my desk, heart pounding. Melissa had access to my office. She'd offered to help organize my work files months ago. I'd thought it was sweet. How manipulated had I been? The next morning I said nothing. Watched Melissa make coffee, kiss Dylan's head, check her phone constantly. She left for work at 8:30. I called in sick to the plant, first time in 3 years. Then I called my younger brother, Spencer. He was 54, 4 years younger than me. We hadn't spoken much since our mother's funeral, when we'd argued about her estate. But Spencer was a paralegal now, worked for a divorce attorney. If anyone could help me, it was him. "Vincent?" He sounded surprised when he answered. "Everything okay?" "No," I said. "No, it's not. I need your help, Spencer. I think Melissa is stealing from my company." Silence on the line. Then, "Tell me everything." I did. The office break-in, Dylan's questions about Uncle Marshall, the defensive behavior. When I finished, Spencer was quiet for a long moment. "I'm coming over," he finally said. "And Vincent, I'm sorry about Mom's funeral. I was drunk and grieving and took it out on you." My throat tightened. Water under the bridge. "No, it's not. But we'll fix that later. Right now, we need to protect you and Dylan. Don't confront her yet. Don't let on that you know. We need evidence, documentation, everything." "Already ahead of you," I said. "I'm taking photos of my office tonight." "Good man. I'll be there in 2 hours." After we hung up, I went to Dylan's school, pulled him out early. Mrs. Patterson, his teacher, caught me in the hallway. "Mr. Torres, is everything all right? Dylan's been withdrawn lately." She hesitated. "Has he said anything to you about home?" "He drew a picture yesterday, a factory with very thick walls and a figure he labeled the Secret Man." My stomach dropped. "Can I see it?" She brought it from her classroom. There was our house drawn in crayon, Dylan standing outside, a shadowy figure in my office window labeled Uncle M. "Thank you," I managed. "I'll handle this." I took Dylan home, let him watch cartoons while I paced. Spencer arrived at noon, took one look at me, and pulled me into a hug. "We're going to fix this," he said. "I promise." Spencer spread files across my dining room table like a general planning a campaign. He'd brought a forensic accountant named Lauren Bennett with him, a sharp-eyed woman in her 60s who looked like somebody's grandmother but talked like a prosecuting attorney. "First things first," Spencer said. "We document everything, your office, bank accounts, her schedule, everything. Lauren's going to look at your company finances." "What am I looking for?" I asked. Lauren pulled out a laptop. "Unauthorized access, unusual transactions, missing funds. If she's stealing corporate information, she's probably stealing money too." I gave her access to our business accounts. Within 30 minutes, her expression changed. "Mr. Torres, do you remember authorizing a $75,000 transfer from your emergency operations fund last month?" My blood went cold. "No, absolutely not." She turned the screen toward me. "Electronic authorization, April 15th. That's your company login credentials." I stared at the document. April 15th, that was the day I'd worked late on the Henderson contract bid. I'd left my computer logged in when I went to the production floor. "She had access," I said slowly. "Melissa was in my office that night, said she was organizing files." Spencer leaned over, looked at the document. His face went hard. "She stole it. Corporate theft, Vincent. Where did the money go?" Lauren pulled up more documents. My hands curled into fists as I saw it. Joint account, Melissa Torres and Marshall Brooks. "Who's Marshall Brooks?" Spencer asked. I pulled out my phone, did a quick search. His LinkedIn popped up immediately. "Sales representative at Phoenix Manufacturing Solutions, our biggest competitor. 35 years old, profile full of industry awards and motivational quotes about disrupting traditional business models." "That's where my $75,000 went," I said, voice flat, "to fund our competitor." Lauren kept digging. "There's more. She's been copying your client databases, downloading proprietary manufacturing processes. Vincent, this isn't just theft. This is industrial espionage." I stood up, walked to the window, tried to breathe. My company's trade secrets stolen. The work I'd spent 20 years building sold to our rivals. Money meant for employee bonuses and equipment upgrades. Gone. "Spencer," I said carefully, "we've got her." "Corporate espionage, embezzlement, fraud," he nodded. "This isn't just divorce territory, this is federal crime territory." "Good," I said, and meant it. "What do we do next?" "We get Dylan evaluated by a child psychologist. Document the emotional impact. We photograph everything in your office. We find out everything we can about Marshall Brooks. And then," Spencer's expression was grim, "we bury her in court." Lauren was still typing. "Vincent, there's something else. She's got credit cards you don't know about. And there are airline reservations. 2 tickets to the Cayman Islands. Departure date is 2 weeks from now." Spencer and I looked at each other. "She was going to run," I said. "Take the money and disappear." "What about Dylan?" Spencer asked. "I don't think he was part of the plan," Lauren said quietly. The room went silent. My wife had stolen from my company, betrayed my trust, and was planning to abandon our family. The woman I'd trusted with everything was a stranger. "Let's get to work," I said. "I want everything documented, every lie, every dollar, every stolen file. When we're done, she won't know what hit her." I took Dylan to Dr. Jennifer Ross the next afternoon. Spencer had recommended her, said she specialized in children dealing with family trauma. Her office was warm, filled with toys and books designed to put kids at ease. "Mr. Torres, I'll speak with Dylan alone first," Dr. Ross said. "Then we'll talk." I sat in the waiting room for 45 minutes, watching the clock. Every minute felt like an hour. Finally, the door opened. Dylan came out, went straight to the toy corner without looking at me. Dr. Ross gestured me into her office. "Your son is carrying significant anxiety," she said, closing the door. "He's been placed in a position of keeping adult secrets. That's a form of emotional manipulation, Mr. Torres. It's damaging." She showed me drawings Dylan had made. Houses with thick walls. A figure labeled Dad standing outside. Another labeled me inside with bars on the windows. and a shadow figure he'd labeled M. "Who's M?" I asked, though I already knew. He wouldn't say directly, but he drew this. She showed me another picture. A car with a woman inside, surrounded by red crayon. He said, "This is what happens when people don't listen." My blood ran cold. What does that mean? I think he's afraid, but of what exactly, I'm not sure. But Mr. Torres, this child needs stability. He needs to know at least one parent is a safe harbor. What do you recommend? Primary custody to you. Supervised visitation for the stepmother until she completes intensive counseling. Dylan needs protection from whatever's happening in your home. I left with a formal report in hand, legal documentation of what Melissa had done to our son. Spencer was waiting in my truck, saw my face. That bad? Worse. I handed him the report. She's been using him, making him keep her secrets. He's terrified. Spencer's jaw tightened. We've got her now. Between this and the corporate espionage, she won't get anywhere near custody. That night, Melissa came home late, 10:30. Smelled like expensive cologne that wasn't mine. "Where have you been?" I asked from the couch. "Work dinner. Client meeting ran long." She didn't even look at me, just headed for the stairs. There was no client meeting. She froze, turned slowly. "Excuse me?" I checked. Your office said you left at 5. No scheduled meetings. Her face shifted through emotions. "Are you spying on me now?" "I'm trying to understand why my wife lies to me." "I'm not doing this, Vincent." She started up the stairs. "I'm tired. I know about Marshall." She stopped. Didn't turn around, just stood there, hand on the railing. "I know about the money, the stolen files, the offshore accounts, all of it." When she faced me, her expression was cold, hard, nothing like the woman I'd married. "So what are you going to do about it?" she asked. "You're 58 years old, Vincent. Who's going to believe you over me? Who's going to take your side when I tell them how controlling you are? How you manipulated a younger woman into marriage after your wife died? How you use your position and guilt to keep me trapped?" "I have proof," she laughed, actually laughed. "Proof of what? That I have a business associate? That I helped streamline some processes? You can't prove anything. We'll see what a judge thinks. Do your worst." She came down 2 steps, got close. "But remember, I know things too. Oh, about Sarah's accident. About how you blame yourself. About your nightmares. I'll make you look unstable, Vincent. I'll make sure everyone knows you're a paranoid old man who couldn't satisfy his wife." She went upstairs. I heard the guest room door lock. I sat there in the dark, hands shaking with rage, but I didn't move. Didn't chase her because Spencer's words echoed in my head. Desperate people make mistakes. Let her feel confident. The trap was already set. 3 days later, I scheduled a meeting at my house, told Melissa her lawyer needed to be there, told her it was time to discuss terms. She agreed, probably thinking she had the upper hand. Spencer came early, helped me set up. Lauren spread her files across the dining room table, the same table where we'd eaten family dinners for 3 years, where Dylan had done his homework, where Melissa had smiled and lied to my face. Marshall arrived first. Didn't want to come. You could see it in every line of his body. Kept glancing at the door like he wanted to bolt. His lawyer was young, expensive suit, slicked back hair. Melissa came next with her attorney. She looked perfect. Hair and makeup done, modest dress, small cross necklace. Playing the victim before anyone even spoke. We all sat. My table, my house, my terms. Melissa's lawyer started. "My client is here in good faith to discuss an amicable separation." "Your client committed corporate espionage," I said, cutting him off. Lauren stood, laid out the first document. Southwest Industrial Solutions financial records. $75,000 unauthorized transfer, April 15th. Electronic authorization using Mr. Torres's credentials while he was on the production floor. Another document. Joint account, Melissa Torres and Marshall Brooks. $75,000 deposited, $60,000 withdrawn. Hotels, restaurants, business startup costs for Phoenix Manufacturing Solutions. The lawyer's face changed. He turned to Melissa. "Did you know about this?" She didn't answer. Lauren continued. "Stolen proprietary manufacturing processes, downloaded client databases, trade secrets sold to competitors." She pulled up photos on her laptop. Evidence of systematic corporate theft. Marshall's lawyer had his head in his hands. "There's more," Spencer said. He pulled out Dr. Ross's report. Psychological evaluation of Dylan Torres states the child has been emotionally manipulated, forced to keep adult secrets, shows signs of anxiety and trauma. He spread out Dylan's drawings, the houses with walls, the shadow figure, the car surrounded by red. "Your client has stolen from her husband's company and psychologically damaged her stepson," Spencer said. "This isn't divorce court, this is federal crime territory." "This is insane," Melissa said, voice rising. "Vincent is twisting everything. He's controlling, manipulative." "Then explain the Cayman Islands tickets," Lauren interrupted. "2 adults, no child, departure next week." The room went silent. Marshall stood up suddenly. "I'm done. This is on you, Melissa. You said he was loaded, that we'd take the company for everything. You planned all of it." "Sit down," his lawyer snapped. "No, she stole those files. I saw her downloading everything, told her it was wrong, but she said he'd never fight back, that we'd get the money and start fresh in the Caribbean." "Shut up," Melissa screamed. "Mr. Brooks," Spencer said calmly. "Keep talking." Marshall looked at me. "She said you were old and stupid, that you'd never fight back, that we'd destroy your business and disappear. The startup was supposed to be our cover." Melissa was shaking with rage. "You coward. You absolute coward." "Better a coward than facing federal fraud charges." Spencer leaned forward. "Here are our terms. Full custody to Vincent. You pay back every penny, $75,000, plus damages to the company. You find it, borrow it, sell everything you own, or we file criminal charges. Corporate espionage, interstate fraud. 10 years minimum," Melissa's lawyer whispered to her. Long conversation. Her face crumpled. "I don't have that much," she finally said. "Then you better figure it out. You've got 72 hours. Marshall was already heading for the door, his lawyer chasing after him. Melissa looked at me one last time. "Vincent, please. You don't understand. You stole from my company. You made Dylan afraid in his own home. You betrayed everything we built together." I stood up. "Get out of my house. You've got 3 days." She left, her lawyer trailing behind. When they were gone, Spencer put a hand on my shoulder. "You did good, brother." I looked at the papers scattered across my table. 3 years of marriage reduced to evidence of fraud. "Yeah," I said. "Now let's make sure she never hurts Dylan again." 2 days after the meeting, a car pulled into my driveway. Caroline Stone, Melissa's mother, 68 years old, elegant, steel-spined. I'd always respected her, even liked her. She'd raised Melissa alone after her husband left. I opened the door. Caroline stood there with her purse clutched tight, face drawn. "Vincent, may I come in?" "Of course." I stepped aside. We sat in the living room. She declined coffee, sat with her back straight, hands folded. "Melissa called me yesterday," she said quietly. "Told me you're trying to destroy her, that you manufactured evidence." I waited. Didn't defend myself, just waited. Then I called my accountant, asked him to look into something. She pulled papers from her purse. She'd been asking for money, said it was for Dylan's school expenses. I gave her $5,000 over the past year, small amounts. Her hands trembled slightly. "It wasn't for Dylan, was it?" "No, it went to Marshall." She looked at me, eyes wet. "I raised her better than this. I taught her integrity, honesty. Where did I fail?" "You didn't fail, Caroline. She made her own choices." "I'm here to apologize," her voice cracked, "for what my daughter has done to you and Dylan, and to tell you I'm testifying for you. Whatever you need from me, you have it." "Caroline, you don't have to." "Yes, I do. That child is my step-grandson, and he needs protection, even if it's from his own stepmother." She stood, composed herself. "I'm also cutting her off completely. No more money, no more excuses." After she left, I sat there stunned. Even Melissa's own mother had turned against her. Spencer called an hour later. "Did Caroline come by?" "Yeah, she's testifying for us." "There's more. Marshall's startup is being investigated. Turns out he used stolen designs from multiple companies. When he realizes he's facing federal charges on multiple fronts, he'll flip completely." "How long? Days, maybe hours?" "He's a coward, Vincent. He'll save himself first." That night, Melissa came to the house. Didn't knock, just used her key. I was in the kitchen with Dylan, helping with homework. "We need to talk," she said. Her eyes were red, makeup smeared. "Dylan, go upstairs, buddy." "But Dad, my science project." "I'll help you finish in a minute. Go on." He went, looking back once with worry in his eyes. Melissa sat at the table. "My mother called. She's siding with you." "I know." "Marshall's lawyer dropped him. Says he won't represent him anymore." "I know that too." She looked at me. Really looked at me. "How did this happen, Vincent? How did we get here?" "You stole $75,000, had an affair, planned to abandon Dylan." I kept my voice level. "You did this. I made mistakes." "Mistakes?" I leaned forward. "You destroyed our family for a 35-year-old with a failing startup. You traumatized our son. Those aren't mistakes. Those are choices." She started crying, real tears this time. "I'll pay it back, all of it. Just please don't take Dylan from me." "You took yourself from Dylan the moment you made him keep your secrets." I stood up. "You've got 24 hours to accept our terms. After that, we file federal charges." She left without another word. Upstairs, Dylan was sitting on his bed, clutching his stuffed bear. "Is Mommy Melissa leaving?" "Yeah, buddy. But you're staying with me. You're safe." He hugged me tight. "Good. I feel safe with you, Dad." That's all I needed to hear. The next afternoon, I got a call from an unknown number. Woman's voice. Young, scared. "Is this Vincent Torres?" "Yes. Who's this?" "My name is Angela Davis. I'm 23, and I'm pregnant with Marshall Brooks's baby." My hand tightened on the phone. "Go on." "I didn't know about your wife, about any of it. Marshall told me he was single, that he loved me. Then yesterday his lawyer called me, said I might be subpoenaed." Her voice shook. "I went to confront him. He admitted everything. Said your wife promised him money to start fresh, that they were planning to leave together." "Did he say anything else?" "He showed me texts, plans they made. He said if he's going down, she's going down with him. Mr. Torres, I'm so sorry. I didn't know." "It's not your fault, Angela, but I need you to do something. Will you testify to what Marshall told you?" Silence. Then, "Yes. He used me. Used my feelings. I'll tell the truth." I called Spencer immediately. "We've got another witness. Marshall's pregnant girlfriend. She'll testify." "That seals it. Melissa's done." That evening, Marshall called me directly. "We need to talk," he said. No cockiness now, just fear. "I'm listening." "I'll testify against Melissa. Everything she planned, everything she did. I'll give you all the texts, emails, everything. But you need to tell the prosecutor I'm cooperating." "Why should I help you?" "Because I've got proof she planned to destroy your reputation. Make it look like you were unstable. She had recordings of arguments, edited to make you sound threatening. She was going to use them to get full custody and then disappear with Dylan." My blood went cold. Until I told her it was too risky. That's when we switched to the Caribbean plan. He paused. "Look, I'm a screw-up. I know that, but I'm not evil. That kid doesn't deserve what she was planning. Send me everything. Tonight." "Already done. Check your email." I hung up and opened my laptop. There were hundreds of messages, audio files, photos. A complete record of Melissa's plans to destroy me and take Dylan. Spencer came over within the hour. We went through everything. "This is bigger than we thought," he said. "She wasn't just stealing money. She was planning to destroy your reputation, take Dylan, and disappear. If Marshall hadn't gotten cold feet." I didn't want to think about it. The next morning, Melissa's lawyer called. "My client accepts your terms. Full custody to you, supervised visitation, repayment of all funds plus damages. She's borrowing from family to make the first payment. And the psychological counseling. She's agreed to everything." After I hung up, I sat in my office at the plant, looking out at the production floor. 200 people down there, depending on this place for their livelihoods. I'd kept this company running through recessions, supply chain nightmares, labor disputes. I'd never backed down from a challenge, and I wasn't backing down now. That afternoon, I picked Dylan up from school. Mrs. Patterson stopped me. "Mr. Torres, I wanted to tell you, Dylan's been different this week. Happier, more engaged. Whatever you're doing, it's working. Thank you. That means everything. In the car, Dylan was humming, playing with his action figures. Dad? Yeah, buddy? When Mommy Melissa comes to visit, will you be there? Every time, I promise. Good. He went back to his toy. I love you, Dad. I love you too, son. We drove home through the evening light, and for the first time in weeks, I felt like I could breathe. 6 months passed. Dylan thrived. His nightmares stopped. His drawings changed from dark houses to bright factories and smiling stick figures. Dr. Ross said he was healing faster than expected. Melissa's supervised visits happened every other Saturday for 2 hours at a community center with a social worker present. Dylan went willingly, but always seemed relieved to come home. Spencer moved into my guest house, said he was staying close to help, but I think he just wanted family nearby. We had dinner together most nights, him and me and Dylan. Sometimes Caroline joined us. She'd cut Melissa out of her life completely, said she couldn't support what her daughter had done. At work, production numbers were up. The regional manager sent a commendation letter. People noticed I was different, lighter somehow. One of my shift supervisors said I smiled more. Marshall's startup collapsed. He filed bankruptcy, moved back to his parents' place 2 states over. Last I heard, he was working construction, paying off debts. Angela had her baby, a girl. She sent me a photo with a note. Thank you for telling the truth. One Saturday evening, Dylan and I were shooting hoops in the driveway. Spencer came out with beers for us, juice box for Dylan. Dad, Dylan said, dribbling the ball. Uncle Spencer says you're a hero. I'm not a hero, buddy. Just a dad doing what dads do. Protecting your family, Spencer added. That's what heroes do. Dylan made a basket, threw his hands up. I want to be like you when I grow up, Dad. Strong and brave. I pulled him into a hug, felt his small arms around my waist. Yeah, I thought, we're going to be okay. 9 months after everything ended, life had found its rhythm. Dylan was excelling in school, laughing again. The weight he'd carried was gone. I stood on my porch one Saturday morning, coffee in hand, watching the sunrise. Spencer's truck was parked beside mine. He'd become a permanent fixture, the brother I'd lost and found again. A moving truck pulled up next door. The house had been empty for months. A woman got out, late 30s, helping a teenage girl unload boxes. I walked over. Morning, I'm Vincent. Welcome to the neighborhood. She smiled, warm, genuine. Kelly, this is my daughter, Brianna. We're starting fresh after a divorce. Good place for it. Need help? We spent the morning carrying furniture. Spencer joined in. Dylan played with Brianna's younger brother in the yard. By afternoon, Kelly had invited us for pizza once she got settled. That evening, Dylan was building Legos at the kitchen table. Dad? Yeah, buddy? Are you happy? I thought about it. About everything we'd lost and everything we'd gained. About Spencer sleeping in the guest house. About Caroline coming for dinner tomorrow. About the future stretching ahead. Uncertain but full of possibility. Yes, son, I am. Me too. I looked out the window. Kelly was on her porch waving. I waved back. Dylan went back to his Legos. Spencer came in from the garage, grabbed a beer from the fridge. You did good, Vincent, he said quietly. We did good. Couldn't have survived this without you. That's what family does. The sun set over the neighborhood, painting everything gold. My house, my son, my brother, my life. All of it hard-won. All of it worth fighting for. I lost a wife but kept my integrity. Lost a marriage but found the truth. Lost my illusions but gained something real. Dylan laughed at something he built. The sound filled the kitchen, pure and unafraid. That sound was everything. That sound was why I fought. And standing there in my home with my family, I knew we were going to be more than okay. We were going to be great. Sometimes the people closest to you are the ones capable of the deepest betrayal. But when you stand firm on your principles and protect what truly matters, justice has a way of revealing itself. Trust your instincts, especially when a child tries to tell you something important.